Hey everybody, Asher here. It's party time. It's a day I've been waiting for quite some time. It's early access release day for Kerbal Space Program 2. It's just an exciting time. This is going to be just my initial impressions. This is literally the first time I have booted this up. So this is all incredibly new. You can see I have absolutely nothing here at all. We're just going to do difficulty normal. We're just going to call this Asher first, Kerbal Space Agency. Everything default. As you can see, stuff's flying around, falling apart here. So here we go. This is actually weird. I was expecting to have to fiddle with the video graphic settings and stuff like that, because if you have paid attention to this launch, and there's been a lot of controversy and drama following this game that I'm not going to get into, but there's also a lot of questions about computer performance, video performance. It's funny seeing OBS giving me information on the left. It's like, oh, this is already hitting my CPU harder than Star Sector. But I won't talk over this.
Your new space program, leaping forward into the cosmos. Since the dawn of Kerbal kind, we have looked to the sky and wondered what sublime mysteries lie hidden in the darkness, like jewels never beheld. These untold treasures may soon reveal themselves due to the efforts recently founded Kerbal Space Program.
Oh my! I think that might have been the only copy of the orientation film. Hold on! Slides, somewhere. Welcome to your first day running the Kerbal Space Program. This campus hosts the greatest ever gathering of astronomers, astronauts, and engineers. After years of focused effort, this collection of geniuses has created several very impressive buildings.
Hooray!
We believe we have all the necessary pieces to take our first steps off the ground. The best way to advance our technologies further is to get up there and learn by doing. All we need now is somebody to show us how to put all these parts together. Well, we also need somebody to help us out with the flying. We need a lot of help, actually. That's why you're here. My name is Paige, by the way. If you need any hints, feel free to visit me over at the training center. Everything in there is well padded, so it's a great place to get up and running. Welcome aboard!
Hooray! So, welcome to the Kerbal Space Center. This campus has everything you might need. So we can go through lessons in the training center, or if you want to start building, we can go to the vehicle assembly building. Now, obviously, there's already just some choppiness trying to move around a little bit, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, here we are. We have all this stuff here. And then if we go to the very exciting place, one of my favorite places to look is the tracking station, because that lets us get our view of everything else. If you really want to see what Paige is saying here, I'm sure it's very important, and I'll look back at it in the video, but I just want to see right now how this looks with my system. It's interesting they've actually kept Kerbal kind of looking like Kerbal here, and we do have the moon. Can we focus on the moon? We have a focus button. There we go. The MUN moon. So far, this is not blowing up my computer. That's pretty great. There was one patch that came out while I was working this morning, because obviously I'm still supposed to be working right now. Okay, that's not true. Lunch breaks are fun and a real thing. Eve looks very different. Obviously, if you've played modded Kerbal Space Program or Kerbal Space Program more recently than I have, then you know that Kerbal Space Program 1, there's mods that can make things look like this. But I'm very interested in seeing what handcrafted stuff ends up looking like here. Like, this is very impressive, Duna. I'm curious if they do have like dust storms and stuff. Now, the other thing is that this is early access. Oh wow, that's an actual little ridge there. That's very pronounced too, which looks super cool. But yeah, this is early access. There's more that's going to be added to the game eventually. Jewel, oh, there you are. So sometimes we're zooming in, and I guess it's the weird camera angle here. But yeah, this looks a lot more like the stuff that we got from the Juno probe. I'm curious if we have any of our weird hexagonal cloud structures on the bottom. I don't know. But yeah, it looks super exciting. We actually have moons that I didn't even look at as well, like Tylo, the hellish iron planet that weighs as much as Kerbin, now actually looks even more terrifying. Everybody's favorite lathe now appearing. Oh, actually, and yes, you can see the atmosphere scattering through the stars, wherever it is. There's a star here somewhere, and we do have that. It looks pretty cool. Bop, the best named planet. Well, it used to be a moon. It hasn't fully like coalesced on itself. Paul, that looks completely different than before. And Val, and there's Val. Hey. Interesting. Wonder if there's like some issue with the topography because it's tidally locked. And then Elu, or Elo as I would call it for so long. This one actually looks pretty similar, but I mean, what can you do with a sheet of ice? But anyway, that's exciting. We're going to just kind of get it right to the building here. Not to the launch pad. We're just going to try to fly some rockets, see kind of what fun we can have, see what physics and we can break, what Krakens we can summon here. Now, since this is sandbox mode, career mode is not here yet. Science is not here yet. There's probably some things here that I want to look at, like the trip planner, and assure that your vehicle has enough ability to get there, which is very exciting. And then the launch button so we can press space to space. But yeah, we do have a lot of parts available to us that we'd otherwise have to research. I've heard some complaints about having to build planes in this as well, but I never really got on the airplane side of Kerbal Space Program. It just never clicked with me. That's something I was like, I'll just wait for Kerbal Space Program to learn that. And then it's been a few years, and here we are. If you're familiar with this channel or a longtime viewer, and maybe some of you are, you'll know that Kerbal Space Program was one of the, probably the second game to really gain traction on this channel. Third, if you technically count Scrolls when Mojang did things other than just Minecraft. But yeah, it was FTL faster than light than Kerbal Space Program. So I have some time in this, but not so much time in modern Kerbal Space Program. So some of the modern things that people are really excited about, I don't have to worry about missing them. So we're just going to pick a pod here. And one of the great things about Kerbal Space Program in general, oh, fly safe. I guess we can call it that. We're just going to do kind of a basic launch and see if we can shoot somebody up in the air as if this were career mode. So we do have fuel tanks. Hopefully we actually have a decoupler here that fits. That fits pretty well. So right now we have staging, which from what I've seen from some of the previews is really, really nice. Like I said, I'm not going to do anything too crazy for my first launch. We're going to keep it very, very simple. We don't actually have heat yet, so screw thermal stuff. That's, once again, early access. You just got to understand sometimes that, you know, shit, the game's not going to always be like it was before. When they say early access, they mean it, and that is totally fine. I can put some wings on here, just some ooh, those are really big. Let's trash that. Those are tiny stabilizers. That's more of what I'm looking for. And then we have symmetry mode to put 3 up here. I like triangles. And we should be able to actually adjust these maybe a little bit as well. These are procedural wings. Woo! Ah, no kidding. All right, that's fine. We can play with like all kinds of other stuff, make them thick. That's not the kind of thick we want to do. Thick, definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, you can make things kind of how you want. And this is the thing that when I am intending on doing more Kerbal Space Program content. And let's just look for a parachute. Do we have parachutes here? Parachute. Good. I'm glad they still have parachutes in this game. Okay, ML16, that's really big. That's a drogue chute. That's probably too big, but we may be using it anyway. And then that's... Okay, here we go. I guess that's up there. So we have one stage. We're going to need more than one stage here. And we actually need an engine. That may be a little bit of the problem here. So probably the Reliant here seems easy enough. We're not gonna do anything too crazy. So we don't want to do the parachute at the same time here. So can we just put this down here, add a stage, put the parachute up here. There we go. That's actually very user-friendly. It's very readable. So I like that. Are we going to call this the fly safe? That would be the Scott Manley thing to say. If you're not familiar with Scott Manley, he is, or at one point was the Kerbal Space Program guy. And I learned a lot of how to fly things from his videos, as well as a lot about orbital mechanics and things in general. So that's pretty cool. Now we have a trip planner here. We don't have enough to get into low Kerbin orbit right now. We're not going to do that yet. If we're trying to get to BOP, we're not trying to get to BOP. Let's say if we were trying to get to the moon. This says that we would need this much delta V to get over here. I like this breakout. Something isn't quite right. It's called not... Hey, it's a one-way trip. Round trip is going to require a lot more delta V. Or a rescue mission. You know, we are going to try to do a flyby at the moon here, but let's go ahead and just see what a launch looks like. Are you ready to fly? Here are a few pointers. This element is your flight controller. It contains all your flight controls. Here's your speed for moving time, I imagine. Here's your staging stack. So that's fine. Remember, the first stage is the bottom of the rocket, and if you'd like to learn to fly, we could always simulate, but here we go. Actual Kerbal space here. Now, here's the fun part for me, is that I actually didn't put any, like, stabilization stuff in here, so we'll see how this goes. But we're going to kind of try to break the rust at the same time here. If I press T, that gives me full control versus not full control. We have the nav ball here. We're just going to see how this feels. So 3, 2, 1. I'm pretty sure I can change the ratio of propellant here somewhere at some point. We'll figure that later. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I skipped our big countdown thing. We're just flying. We're too excited. All right, so I have to get used to reading all these things a little bit differently, because technically we would want to turn a little bit right now. But we're not looking at, like, flying that crazy here. We're just kind of doing a big... Ooh, now that's fascinating. One of the things that I've heard is that we have... and the music's quite lovely here, too. And we have actual clouds. We can see the transition into that. There's the moon, too. You can fly straight from the moon from the very beginning. We have Bill Kerman, who's very excited to be here. And we have exclamation points because stuff's crashing in the ground. So what's our apoapsis here? It's hard to tell because we're looking through the planet. We almost got to 100,000. Not bad. Okay, so here's space. We can see some galaxies. This is all very, very pretty, but my computer is not on fire. That is a plus. Because if you've seen on the Discord at all, feel free to join the Discord, I guess. If you've looked at the Discord at all, I have talked a little bit about how my graphics card is literally the minimum requirement. So it's nice to know that minimum requirement's going to look like this. But I'm very curious about what a more complicated rocket is going to do when we are just trying to fly it up, because the process has definitely changed. It kind of shot off in a hurry. It's interesting. We're not here trying to save anything. Okay, so let's try speeding up a little bit, because we don't want to deploy our parachute in no atmosphere right now. So our orbital speed is low. The ground is getting a little further away from us. There's the nav ball. There's the planet. So we are out in space. So Bill, congratulations. You made it. Like I said, those stars are very sparkly in the background. Yeah, lowering warp to 4 for safety. I'm curious if that's a system thing, because it was very much an anti-Kraken thing in Kerbal Space Program 1. We'll half this a little bit. We're not going to drop our chute for a little while. We're not going to... Oh, good. The game's just automatically turning my butt in the right direction here. So, can we deploy our chute at 10,000 feet? I probably should have read the stats before. But we are above the clouds, dropping. And interesting here, we have a lot of kind of low res as we transition. This isn't just graininess from the recording. I recorded a high enough sufficient bit rate. So this is one of those things where, because I am on a Radeon XT, what is it, 50, 57 or 5600, whatever the minimum requirement is here. There's some things that are going to look very good, like the water. The water looks nice. And there's some things that are going to look maybe a little sketchier. And some that's early access. I am approaching the ground pretty fast, though, so let's hit that parachute, see if it doesn't, like, break or deploy. I mean, the clouds look really nice from down here, and the water's very, very sparkly. But look! Bill, you lived! Congratulations, Bill. The first flight's a success. We're not going to talk about if that's like space trash in the water. Could just be foam. Actually, if I'm scrolling around, it kind of looks like just a... There's two layers of graphics here. We have like the scattering of stuff, and then we have the water underneath. That's an interesting way to do it. All right. But let's get down here, hit the land, and splash down. So really fascinating that on the ground here, these are definitely waves. That makes me feel a little better about the system requirements, as long as Bill doesn't start sinking. Does this have buoyancy? Maybe. How do we recover a ship? Let's try pressing escape. Recover vessel is probably what we want. Yay! So, there we go. We could do tutorials to learn safety, but hey, overall, first flight, good. Bill Kerman, alive. Jebediah Kerman, we don't know where he is. Let's go back to the Kerbal Space Center for a second. All right, now there's all kinds of buildings here. We actually have a bunch of different launch pads too, which is very exciting. But this time, I do kind of want to shoot for the moon, at least just to see if I can fly up there, because we're not quite unlimited time today. And I don't exactly know what a full moon mission is going to look like, but we're going to do... I could do like an AI flyby or something, but it's more fun if we just do it like this. So we have our final landing stage here. We're just going to build it from top down here. Now I'm gonna warn you that my goal here is to summon the Kraken. I am really trying to okay, those are engine mounts, adapters. It's funny because I found all these things like right away the first time. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's a little bit of a problem. But what I am trying to do here is to see if we can, in fact, break the game a little bit here. Especially because, ooh, that's cute. We're not going to do that. But I am trying to really go through and say, okay, if we are landing on the moon and maybe or maybe not coming back here, can we have a little bit of fun along the way? Now that's probably not enough to get us back from the moon. Let's do a bigger thing. There's always going to be questions about weight on the moon because the moon has no atmosphere. I can't talk. So we're going to just really... Do we even have ladders? We do have a ladder. Okay. Ladders are very important in space exploration. If we don't put a ladder on the correct side of the door, that's a problem. So how are we going to continue this? I don't know. We could just say, you know what, you're going to jump. Do I have to click back every time for this? Maybe I do. All right, well, I'll live. All right. Not struts yet. And bear with me because this is the kind of thing where... Okay, not struts. Where eventually, when I am actually doing, like, recordings for stuff, I am definitely going to be, like, editing through some of the stuff. But since we're in early impression mode, I am going to be kind of playing through this. Just to... Oop, didn't mean to do that. I guess that's okay, but we probably want to put them lower for the engine that's going to be there. We can actually unretract them, right? Leg extended, leg retracted. So it's nice that we can do that. What kind of engine would we want to get off the moon? My question is whether the Terrier is going to be enough. I love the Terrier. I think we may need something a little more. I don't know if it's that. And it's definitely not the Aero Spike, because I think that actually needs air to fly here. So if we do the swivel, I guess one of the issues is that if we're pushing against gravity, I'm curious. Let's see if that's enough, because that is an incredibly efficient engine. The alternatives are all pretty big. And I want to make sure that when we're landing, we're not landing on our butt. Like right here. I did it again. All right. Is there an undo button in Kerbal Space Program? Maybe. All right. So if we check this, it's a right click. All right. So if we extend the legs out, that gets it. Like, it barely gets it, but it gets it. Can we shove those down? And I got to remember here, how do I move up or down? Okay, hold the mouse. I think that's going to be fine. It's good enough. Good enough is what we look for in a space program. All right. So now we're going to need to have something that actually gets us out there, which means there's a few ways that we can do this. We could do this the modern Kerbal way here. We have our stack decoupler and our stack separator. Radial decouplers. We'll need those in a minute. Okay. Fascinating. What I'd love to do is actually have something that covers up the whole, like, thing. But maybe this will be fine. I'm going to be doing a little bit of playing around on this too, just to remind myself of all the buttons, because you can totally wrap this up and make it all, like, pretty. And have it so that we don't have this stuff pushing into the atmosphere on the way out. We might need solar panels just for electricity, so... This is fine. They don't need to be very big. Alright, and we do actually need a parachute again. Let's do the same one here. It's the only one we're going to need. Alright, now the big shit. One of my questions here, honestly, is how big of a shit do we need? That's pretty damn big. If we're trying to do some kind of maneuver from out into space, I actually really like having the Terriers to do that. Do we have a different orbital engine here? Sustainer. That could work, I guess. We're just experimenting at this point. I'm not going to go too fast here. We also have the Labradoodle. That's really big. I am going to get used to this. Okay, so Skipper and Poodle. Next to the main sail and is very good for intermediate stages. Is also second best selling engine. Okay, we'll try to put the Skipper here, because this is going to be our finish up getting out of space before we go over here. So we're going to try to make it to the moon, and it may work or it may not. So radial decoupler time. And I guess my question is, let's try 4. Not like that. Try that again. There we go. Like I said, I kind of want to see the warts here, if I can summon them early, and sort of figure out, hey, how can I break this game? Do I need to refund this game? Anyway, we have methane engines. We have hydrogen. I'm just trying to remember. So hydrogen is one of the largest liquid hydrogen tanks and represents the latest and greatest in fuel storage. I want to know if there's like solid fuel boosters. That's what we need. Because it's possible that I should really check and see what kind of fuel the Poodle runs on. I guess it's just whatever fuel we choose. What kind of fuel tank did we choose? Methalox. I guess that's fine. All right, you know what? If it's not fine, we'll find out. All right, so interesting that these are up here. Nope, these engines are up here. There we go. So Methalox, solid fuel boosters. We are probably going to need more than 4. That's fun. So that means we need to move these down a little bit. Then obviously we want some nose cones on there. All right. So if we look at our trip planner real quick and we're trying to get to the moon and we just want a one-way trip, we technically have the Delta V to get there. You can do it, technically. I love that. And we don't have the Delta V to get back here. So what I would need to do if I was trying to do a return trip is probably put, after this main separation stage to get out there, turn it around and put some Terriers on the other side. But it's fine. We're just gonna try to go to the moon here. I don't know if it's gonna work. That's part of the fun. So we have our solid boosters here. Can I throttle these? That's one of the big issues that I have. Okay, so we can do... That's the amount of fuel that we have. But I'm not necessarily looking to dump, like, how much fuel's in there. I'm trying to figure out if I can change the thrust. So that may be a question for later or something I can figure out off camera. Anything else? Communications. This all seems important. Utility. That seems important. Electrical. We have that. Do we have like a reaction wheel or something? I think those are actually not enabled yet. Single lander can, 10 can, sightseer. So those are probes, cockpits, monopropellant stabilizer. Okay. So where would this go? Okay. So what we do is we cheat and we put this here and we put the rest of the rocket back there. Just like how you build a rocket in real life. That's how you do it. Okay, so this stage, then we decouple, then we move to this stage to try to get to orbit, then we decouple. Gonna be very fascinated to see, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not 100% sure this engine's gonna let us turn very well. We almost forgot to do the aerodynamic thing again here. So let's put some stabilizers on here. Those are pretty big. Maybe we don't go as crazy. I don't know. Okay. Like they're looking... Oh, that was it. They were loading in. See? That's why I want to show this. So we have these stabilizers here. We're going to need some here, because this is going to be there. And I'm going to attempt to... We should probably strut this just a little bit. Like I said, if I want to summon a Kraken, I need more struts. We have a hub too, apparently. What's a hub? We'll figure that out later. Okay, so I've seen complaints about where's auto strutting, but honestly, that seems fine. More struts. I'm already getting a little bit of like the game complaining at me here, so this is going to be very exciting. And we do have this there, this there. This is all kind of mounted upwards. Our trip planner still says that we can make it one way. Like I said, I'm not looking to do anything too rough and tumble here. So engineers report. Your vessel is missing RCS. Precision maneuvering for docking will be difficult. So RCS. Oh, that's true. I mean, just... We're not trying to do precision maneuvers to get on the moon. We know where the moon is. We just want to get into orbit and get in the moon. In the moon, on the moon, after the moon, before the moon, during the moon. Alright. Then Kerbal Manager. We have Bob Kerman, Valentina, let's bring Jeb in there for old time's sake. Although it's nice we have Radon and Camfert and Barwig and Gretor. Seems good. All right, let's try launching. So as I said before, I'm trying to push my system here to see how bad is this going to be. And this time we're going to try our best not to skip the little countdown thing that's here. Let's zoom it out a little bit. All right, so if we look out into space, technically when you boot up Kerbal Space Program for the first time, technically all you have to do is to burn directly at the moon to get to the moon. But we're going to try to do this legit. We're going to try to get into orbit, make a proper intercept, to do a proper other burn here, see how it goes. So nice. Learn Kerbin, learn your numbers. You just successfully splash down. You can recover your vessel here. That was a tutorial we should have gotten before. So, this, I wish I had an FPS counter up. It looks cool. That looks cool. Our frame rate's dipping though. But it definitely looks nice. Jeb likes it. I think that's the most important thing. Also, I'm kind of not sure which direction I'm facing now. So, we're on fire. Like, even on my not as good graphics card. And still, that looks nice. So, after we burn these solid fuels, it's going to be a later gravity turn, but we want to get out of the lower atmosphere with this, if at all possible. And that's one reason I was thinking of starting the other engine first, but these should be separated enough to where that's not as much of an issue. Alright, so we're getting there. I'm sorry my southern drawl's coming out. We're getting there, guys. I don't think we have cockpit view yet, so we can't look at what Jeb is seeing in there, but we do have the clouds kind of messing up with the water there. That's something that I'm sure will be cleared up and fixed, because right now that's super grainy, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like that for other people. But hey, us plebes here have computers too, I guess. Okay, and decouple. So those are gone. And fire the big thing. Okay, this is probably where I need to remember. Hey, wait, how do I lower thrust here? Obviously, we want full thrust right now, but it's a little bit of an early gravity turn, but we just want to get this apoapsis up. 12,000 is not nearly good enough here. But we're doing good on fuel. We're doing fairly good on aerodynamics. This seems fine, so... Oh god, okay. As long as we don't have the atmosphere pushing us back down too hard. I don't want to be too aggressive here, but so far the frame rate's pretty manageable. Like, it's obviously displayed here. There's some issues, but my eye's just on the nav ball right now. Sorry I don't have any, like, super cool software to, like, track where stuff's at, but to track where I'm looking at on the screen. Hey, we're shooting right at the moon anyway. I mean, I could just do the old trick. But let's get in a stable orbit first. So that's not orbital height. By the way, there are really good tutorial videos and stuff. And one of the great things about getting into orbit is really all you're doing is just constantly flying around the ground and missing it. So that's why we're not just trying to shoot straight up here, because we're gonna wrap ourselves around the planet eventually anyway. Although I am keeping an eye on that fuel. We are 20,000 up. So right now, yeah. I mean, that looks super cool. I'm kind of geeking out at that, as it were. But now that we're out of the atmosphere a little bit, the air interference shouldn't be so bad. I am curious about Kerbin being yellow out in space, but hey, it's not Earth. It doesn't have to be like Earth. Okay. I really hope X cuts us off here. We could just go for an 80,000 orbit, and I think that'll be fine. So, yeah, there we go. X Hotkeys still work. Now, can I do a maneuver node here? Create a maneuver plan. If we want to go... Oh, that's how it works. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Just trying to make an orbit here. What's that, apoapsis? A little hard to see from the other side here. Do we have a significant one? That's pretty significant, but I need to probably start burning here. So let's go ahead and just get ready to fire the main engine here, because we're out in space now. Really, there's no wrong way to do this. It just means our orbit may not be as pretty. Alright. And I think I lost my maneuver plan somewhere, so... I didn't quick save either, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Right now we're still flying. I guess my big curiosity is, can we make it to orbit on this stage? Because if we can, great. That was kind... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we're already... Hey! I don't know why we're suddenly exiting Kerbin, but... Okay. Yeah, so I did that a little inefficiently, but it's fine. Can we cancel this maneuver node? Alright. So, interesting. Remember when I said I wanted to encounter the moon? Did our rocket just explode? I may have accidentally destroyed the rocket. I literally saw someone do that in the preview video. Okay. So, second time's a charm. That's why we're doing this, is like actual initial impressions here. And I will try to properly quick save. We're not going to use maneuver nodes this time. We're just going to fly it regular. And like I said, some of the stuff I can always just figure out later. But we know it works. And, yeah. I could probably just go ahead and set like a moon encounter. Anyway. Hey, we didn't get the countdown this time. They're just like, screw it. Fly safe part 3. Apparently don't let your ship just disappear out into nothing. I really don't know what that was about. But it's okay. I'm not going to speed this up again either. We're just going to go regular. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. Because definitely when you are under the G-forces that come with the launch in space, the first thing you want to do is to grab a nice, cool, refreshing drink of water and just take a swig. Alright, so once again, we haven't summoned the Kraken. I guess we didn't get ridiculous enough here. Or they patched things and made it better, God forbid. Or I'm running it at 1080p on an older graphics card with better drivers than new high-end graphics cards where unanticipated consequences occur. That'd be the Cyberpunk 2077 situation all over again. So, like I said, those clouds don't look great when passing through them. And that's something I hope I get to enjoy a little more. But I guess I technically could start firing my rocket a little bit higher up into space, or higher in the atmosphere, but I'd rather just keep the thrust going. So those are gone. Fire. And we're gonna do this manual style, olden style, as it were. Once we get to 10,000, we're gonna make our turn. We know we have the fuel for it, so cheaters never prosper. I don't know if we can quick save during launch without risk of screwing things up. I could probably start my turn a little bit. I gotta remember to do my proper navigational shit. And down is up is down. And now we're gonna start our turn in earnest. Alright. There we go. Good enough. This time we will try not to destroy our spaceship on the menu. But yeah, very happy, very exciting sort of launch music just to have my ship disappear. Someone in the comments section, I'm sure, will be able to tell me what I did wrong, or I can just review the game footage and be like, oh, so that's what I did. Okay, so we want to burn until we get to apoapsis of 10,000, and then we can just burn on the horizon until we get an orbit, and we're not going to use the maneuver nodes this time. I forget whose like preview gameplay it was that showed them like messing it up and accidentally deleting their ship, but now I can say I'm part of that club. By the way, our apoapsis should be pretty healthy here. Okay, now I got to get used to, okay, this is our atmosphere, so we're in the upper atmosphere. We're just about in space. I mean, that's exciting. All of our launches have technically made it to space. Alright. Although, if you are looking to fly your first mission out to do a landing somewhere, Minmus is generally a safer place to land. So, but we're going to try to land on the moon. So, there we go. And we're just, like I said, if the moon is right there, we could just point to it and get an encounter. Let's try that. You know what? We have F5 to quick save, maybe? What's a quick save? We don't know. I should have looked up the controls before. Is time moving right now? We have a pause button. Game paused. Settings. Input. Should know these things. I know some people... Oh, it's F5. I just didn't see the trigger here. Fortunately, F5 and F9 are not my record and unrecord buttons, and that is specifically because recording software. So I don't know... I don't know if we got it for sure. But let's shoot the moon. See if this old adage still works. Screw orbit. We're just fire rocket at this thing. See if I can manually fire my rocket at the moon. It's more efficient if we're using orbit and stuff, but you know, we didn't used to have all these maneuver nodes and stuff in Kerbal Space Program. So sometimes, even though it's more efficient to burn from your periapsis and make this work, we can see if we can do it like this, or if I'm actually going to run out of fuel, which may also be the case here. But as long as we're pointing towards the moon, there we go. Just gotta figure out which button's which. So, how did we do? This is not very fuel efficient. We do have a ballistic trajectory right now. But, oh, we got it. We got it. At the very end, there is our moon encounter. Wait, we're exiting Sol. Hang on. Did we miss the moon? Well, let's try to hit the moon a little more. So, and like I said, if this doesn't work, we set this as a target. It looks like we might have a moon encounter if I keep burning, so let's stage. So that is now going off into space forever. That's exciting. And I forgot, we don't want to turn on the parachute with this. So let's Let's go. Oh boy. Alright, F9. Where did I mess up my rocket here? It looks almost like I have no fuel in that tank. And that looks like I burned all of my fuel because it was connected to the other big thing. So if I can keep these separated a little bit. I guess this time we'll just try to go at normal style. Let me not burn through my ambitions here. And in the future I'll just have to figure out, okay, let's make it so that our fuel supply is not like totally expired here. Like, can I see how much fuel we have here? There's a fuel tank. Alright, well. Let's fly anyway. Because we definitely have enough fuel to get into a good orbit. We know that much. And I'm still burning pretty early if this is what I'm doing. So let's stop this for a second. I don't want time to go too crazy here, but let's speed this along for a second. We're gonna do the eyeball test. That looks good enough. Alright. Fly again. Not so crazy this time. And we should get a periapse here in just a sec. There we go. That's fine. And we're just going to play it safe here, F5, just in case I accidentally destroy things. Now, if we set this as a target, and we try to burn from here. There we go. So we enter and exit the moon's sphere of influence. What kind of, I guess one question is what kind of encounter do I get here? I wish I could tell. But T-minus 24 minutes until the burn. So from the looks of it, if I go a little farther, okay, we definitely want to hit the moon. Okay. All right. You know what? We'll just experiment a little bit. Clearly, you can see over here. One thing we're supposed to be able to see is what the pass-through of this looks like, and I guess they haven't fixed that yet. So we're just going to F5 it here, and we're going to go speed up time a little bit. Times 50. We don't want to do times 100. I have messed this up too many times in the past. Recommended delta V is that many. Okay. Let's get to where our burn's supposed to be. So burn node should be technically over here. And we're going to quick save and make sure that this passes the sanity test. All right. Is this going to fly? This is not going to fly us towards the moon. So that is the wrong way. So let's flip this bird around one more time. This is why we do the visual checks. I would like to burn a little harder. Okay. That's what we want. Okay. The rust is wearing off a little bit, so can I see how much fuel's in this tank? Okay, well, let's start burning. So that's nice. That's how much delta V we need to burn on this. Alright. Technically, I started the burn a little early. It's fine. So here's this. All right. You know, I don't know for sure if we're going to get a moon encounter here or not. All right. I guess the question is, did we miss the moon? First off, let's do some science real quick. Okay. Let's stage this. And we have a little bit of fuel left in here. Right? Okay. So what this probably needs is a few more fuel tanks. That's alright. We got a lot of burn. But yeah, right now this is just taking us directly out of Kerbin. So we're missing the moon entirely. F9! Jebediah's face screaming again. It's fun. It's fine. Like I said, this is the kind of thing where you can just figure it out a little bit later. I guess technically, since this is all sharing fuel, because I didn't put I thought I put a stage separator in there, but apparently it's sharing fuel for reasons that I'll figure out later. If we just tap this now, this one is way more efficient. So we'll just let you go. It's space junk in orbit. Alright. So if we try to put a maneuver node right here, and we're trying to target the moon, do I need to slow down is my first question. Looks like somehow we went from encountering the moon to completely not. Okay, well. Let's trash that. You know, can we hit min-miss? That's another good question here. So right now we've used up almost all of our burn that we need. Okay, where is min-miss right now? Because that ain't it. Okay, I guess option 3 is if we set the moon to the target here. We have our apoapsis up here. And we want to create an encounter with the moon. There we go. Hey, this lets us crash land into the moon. Seems like fun. That is one way to encounter the moon. So, you know what? We'll just try that. We'll take the scenic route. We are just going to do a direct impact mission into the moon. Looks good to me. T-minus 41 minutes, so let's just enjoy the view for a second. So, bye-bye. There goes space. There goes everything else. There goes default name -2. Okay, 26. Not even looking right now where the moon is. There's... Don't really like moving the camera too much while we're time warping too, so... Alright. So, where's that damn moon? Because right now... We're supposedly near a burn node? This don't seem right. Like TBH, this does not seem correct for starting your burn in 30 seconds. But we're gonna do what the game says. Except we gotta actually find the node. That's not it. It's also not it. There's the sun. Hello, sun. I will one day remember what all these icons mean, but for now... Here, so... Okay. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we're going to F9 that real quick. The problem was that we were on the wrong stage. Okay, cool. Cool. Restocking the snacks. Thanks, game. Alright, so we still should have our maneuver plan saved. And let's go ahead and... Yeah, weird. Weird. Okay. I mean, now we see the moon. Yeah, okay, so period and comma are still our hotkeys here. See, that makes a lot more sense now. So now Kerbin is going to go real far away. And the moon is going to go kind of do its own dance. We are not waiting here for 5 hours, though. So we're going to fly out past where the moon is and everything, because that's just lovely. 2, 1. Then we're going to slow the time boost a little bit here in a second. So look, everything is so far away now. Jebediah going off book. Let's do one more quick save here. I don't normally quick save this much. You all probably know that. But let's make sure it makes sense on the map here. We got 1:30 before we start our burn. That still doesn't seem right. Like, we should be up there kind of burning. So we're going to quick save again here. And if these maneuver node things are just busted and I just need to be eyeballing this, that's totally cool. It is early access after all, but damn. let's see what we got. Because I should be starting my burn from up there. That's literally the point. Okay, game accidentally paused and unpaused. So let's go. Whoop. See, look at that. Somehow we got a moon encounter anyway. But I didn't actually start the stage again, and now we're over here. So let's just bullshit this real quick. Yeah. All right. Like the little F9 sound. Definitely some things I'll have to get used to, but hey, if it's the game indicating something to me, then it's the game indicating something to me. So once again, it's saying start burn in just a little bit. But if we go to this next, boop, 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 nope, nope, nope. I did not want to do that. This is where video editing would definitely help with all the mistakes, but then you wouldn't know how many mistakes I'm making, and that's just never visiting Dres? What? Alright. So I'm going to turn off our thrust here for a second. Let's get up to where I'm expecting to be in our orbit here. So yeah, that's more the correct count. Interesting. So we can slow this down for just a second here. Where's everything? That's really far away. I don't even know where the moon is right now. But we're still gonna try to fly to it. It technically exists. We're even out past we're not out past where Minmus is. Okay. But we are going to be kind of doing a weird fly to. All right. So let's speed this up just a touch. Because getting to the top of this orbit is always the slowest part. 4, 3, 2, 1. Game paused again. We'll quick save here just to see. And this is where we want to fly to, I think. Is this going to work today? Right now we're at the right place. Oop. Okay, we have our direct impact. That's all I really want here. Now, the big thing is that we're going to need to try to slow down to a landing speed. So, let's see if we can get an approach to the moon. All right. So, we're just doing a nice little tour here. The moon's actually going to be able to do a full circle around Kerbin here. So, we're out of here. Our mission's taken a pretty long time. And we can see all the other space junk that we've created, but this is fine. This is exactly what Kerbal Space Program is all about, is experimentation and hoping for the best. Now the thing is that we do actually want to encounter with the moon here. The problem is that maybe we don't want to like directly fly into it. But right now, our speed is not, like, super the worst. We are going to have to, like, figure this out right away, though. So, there's the moon. We love it because it's close to us. And I'm so used to pausing and unpausing with spacebar. And I just messed that up because I staged with spacebar when I was trying to pause there. That's on me. Okay, Okay, good. Did actually correctly quick save this time. So let's just point our butt at the moon, as people tend to do here, and keep vehicle stability shit on. You know, we should really be extending all these because everybody loves solar panels. So pretty. They're about to totally get trashed though, but they're so pretty. All right. So F5 again for solar panels. There we go. Almost looks like a worthwhile screenshot, but who knows what I'm going to use here. So there's the moon. Okay, so this almost doesn't sound like anything here. But here's the thing, is that our orbital speed is slow right now. Our orbital speed's going to pick up as we land in the moon's gravity well here. So let's just accelerate that process a little bit and see what we get. As we can see, the dance of doom between Kerbin and the moon. You can see our orbital speed is increasing by quite a bit. And if we try, we only have throttle's locked while time warp is over 1x. That's good. Oh, well. That's apparently a bug too. But see, we have... This is why you want to do it from orbit, is that we probably don't have enough delta V to cancel this out. So we're just going to do a hard impact here. I don't even know really if I have enough delta V in here to... Oh, are we landing in the dark side of the moon? Yeah, we are definitely hitting the ground. Like, this is where you want to go into orbit and kind of go on a sideways thing here, but we'll try to slow it down just a little bit. I mean, obviously, Jeb can make it. So what have I learned here is that I definitely need to relearn my staging hotkeys. I definitely need to figure out how to not have, or how to keep, oh, wow, coughing all of a sudden, how to keep my fuel separated. But we got dramatic music as we approach the moon. I mean, I could have just sent Jeb home. But yeah, now we're out of fuel. So I guess this is the end, my friend. Look, though, we're on the horizon. It's beautiful. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. And like I said, I'll do some experimentation off camera before we really start to dig into what other things we can do in this game. But hey, I successfully did not summon the Kraken. Oh, okay. You know, while we're spamming pause messages here, let's at least extend the legs to make sure they work in space and not accidentally... Oh, well, apparently extending the legs while it's paused did Kraken us just a little bit, but the vehicle stability control worked. All right, so equal forces on each side. Obviously, we're going to land, right? Obviously. So we have monopropellant, we have electricity. So we could potentially do an EVA with Jev. Right? Maybe? Crew light enabled, reaction wheel. That's okay. Let's just look at the nice, pretty handcrafted moon. It's all dark and gray and the sun is setting, and I don't know if we're going to be crashing in the dark or not, but that ground is coming pretty fast. But if I had just flown this like normally, yeah, I'm pretty sure this can make it here. But yeah, there's a little bit of jaggediness. Things will probably run really smooth once we land, though, right? Right. All right. Notifications. I love our just critical notifications. Yeah, we crashed. Well, came in a little hot. So this is our flight report for Jebediah. And obviously, things can work. I'm going to play with this a little bit off camera, but that is Kerbal Space Program 2. We did not succeed at summoning a Kraken, much of one so far. If you like Kerbal Space Program 1, you're going to like this. That's pretty much my take on it, because it's the sequel, but not in a way like Darkest Dungeon 2 that's trying to change the game. It's early access, so there's features that are not there from the last game that are not here yet, and there's features, I know people get excited about multiplayer and stuff that will be there in the future, but yeah, for day one, all I really wanted is for this game to run on my system, and it does, so easy to please, I guess. Thanks for watching. This is Asher. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this as well, or your own ideas, or backseat flying here is totally fine. Definitely, if you want to see more Kerbal Space Program content, there's so much of it out there already. But if you want to support my channel, you can like or subscribe. That's totally up to you. I appreciate y'all being here. You stuck through this whole time. In the future, there will be a lot of like mess up stuff that'll be edited out unless it's funny, or like save, reload, save, reload. Well, eventually we're going to get to the point where I won't be doing that, and we'll just be screwing up and dying, and that's the way it is. But new Kerbal Space Center, new Kerbal Space Program. I've waited a long time for this, and I'm very excited that it's here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We will do this again soon. You all take care.